Hi guys, two travelers here in Mexico. Today we are going to be talking about buying a new car in Mexico, which the two travelers have just recently done. But first I wanted to read you a little blurb on what I had written down just in case I forget. I probably won't, but still, this has to do with buying a used car in Mexico. Buying a car in Mexico can be a challenge because there's a lot of fraud. Odometers are often rolled back. The documents to register a car is complicated and easy to falsify. And the registration process varies from state to state. And there's a lot of bad advice that's out there on how to do it. Buying a used car, it's important to check the VIN to see if it's been reported stolen. And what else? So we knew that we wanted to go to a reputable used or new car dealer on purchasing our vehicle.
Mm-hmm. And also we heard that people that buy a car from private owner,
Parties.
Next thing you know, the private owner reports it as stolen, and then
you've given them the money.
Yeah.
And
so
yada,
we just
yada.
wanted to avoid all of that process. And so I tell you, we started looking at used cars at dealerships, and they weren't that much cheaper than a new car.
Yeah, we looked at some at used car lots and at new dealerships because they have used ones there also that you can purchase. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get like maybe an 18, 19, something like that. But the price was pretty expensive. And we found out that buying our car had the 5-year warranty on it, and it was only about $1,700 US more. Yeah.
Right, as opposed to buying a used car at a dealership, not getting that much of a price break and not getting any warranty. We opted for that new car smell.
Yeah, and talk about smells. I told you guys about this before. It's called Dossier. And I'm telling you, these perfumes are amazing. This one is my favorite. Really good reviews. You guys should go online and read about the reviews. What they are is knockoffs from the real stuff, but the smell stays.
Yeah.
Mark can smell it on me. If I spray it in the morning, he can smell it on me all day.
It stays all day,
Yeah. I, however, can't. I smell it initially, but I can never smell perfume once it's on me. So my favorite is this Amberry Saffron. It got super, super good reviews. And I forget what it's a knockoff of, but really, really high reviews on this one. So that was my choice. And then this one is Gourmand White Flowers. And this one's really nice too. Their scents are very clean, not, like strong perfume scents at all. So anyhow, and I'm seeing it more and more advertised when I go online now. Facebook is advertising it when I get online, and other places. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So talk about new car smells. These are amazing.
Back to our topic.
Back to our topic.
Buying a new car.
Yeah. So that's why we decided to buy a new car, because a lot of the miles that were on these cars were 60 to 90,000 miles. And we knew that this would be our last car. And we wanted an SUV after we sold our car back in Texas to Carvana, because of the tow pays. We wanted something much higher off the ground.
Yeah.
And so that's why we ended up getting a Hyundai Creta. And it's a 2024. So we're going to kind of go through the process with you. I don't know if all car dealers work the same as the one that we went through. We went to the Hyundai dealer in Lomas in San Luis Potosi, and we'll tell you how everything worked through them. So first of all, in order to buy a car, they want you to put down a 5,000 peso deposit. That deposit will go towards the purchase of your new car. You don't lose it. But there was already a waiting list, I think, of about 7 people. I think we were number 8. So
yeah, we were number 8.
And 5,000 pesos is about $280, something like that.
And that was on August 8th that we did that.
Right, and we had gone to Kia. I'd had a Kia before. Our last car was a Hyundai Elantra, 2016. Great car, great car. So we wanted to go with either a Kia, because that was a really good car too, on the cheaper end vehicles. But you know what? We've had really good luck with our last car. So we wanted to go either Kia, a Kia Sportage, or a Hyundai Creta. And so that's what we ended up purchasing. So after you put your 5,000 pesos down, they want identification to be verified of your, that you're a resident. So I used, and when I say I, it's only in one of our names. So they don't do it and or like they do in the United States. It's either or person only goes on the title. So yours truly is on the title. So if I ever get Mark, I'll tell him it's my car.
And she's done that already at least once to me so far.
Once?
Okay, or 5 times.
Anyhow, so you have to show them, I had to show them my temporary residency visa. And they made a copy of that. And then I had to show them proof of address, which is always your CFE bill. Many times when you have to show your CFE, it doesn't really matter whether it's in your name or somebody else's. I don't know, but it was in my name. So we showed our most current, and then we had then I had to show my RFC, and Mark and I got our RFCs last year, and he said that's fine, but I needed to go to the office and get a new one with the current date on it.
Right.
I don't get it, but.
And for those of you who don't know, an RFC is basically a tax identification number here in Mexico.
Right, and I kind of affiliate it like with the Social Security number, but once you get your Social Security number in the States, you don't have to redo it again. But in Mexico, it's always something.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I brought that to them. We were on the list. We were, I think, number 8. So that was the beginning process, and that started August 8th, like Mark said. So in Mexico, a lot of times you don't get receipts. However, this is my receipt that I specifically told them I wanted. I mean, they give you this little thing right here as a receipt, and they usually won't give you anything else, but I pretty much said, hey, I'm Americana and I want my receipt, because that's what we do in the States. So that's what I had. I had my 5,000 peso receipt right here. So that was on, what date was that? That was on August 8th, like Mark said. Okay. On August 31st, I have the paperwork that shows that I'm going to be buying the vehicle. What else does it say? It just says what it is, and then it shows the price, which was 476,900 pesos, which is about 27,800, maybe 28,000, depending on where the peso was at the time. But we got it close to 27,800, I believe.
Right. And it's got the vehicle identification number on it too.
Does it? Where?
Somewhere.
Don't make stuff up, Philip. Okay. So then the next paper I got was 2 different bank numbers, BBVA or Banorte, to make the deposit when we go ahead and do it, or the down payment, or pay it in full, sight unseen, right? So that was the information that this sheet was on when it came time to do that. So it was pretty painless, I gotta say. I did tell them that I knew 2 people that had bad experiences trying to buy a new vehicle. One had waited, still waiting. It's been like 10 months. The other one put the deposit down, and They never got their vehicle. It was kind of one excuse after another, weeks after weeks, yada, yada. I believe that they ended up going back to the dealer and they credited them back within a couple of weeks, maybe their deposit.
Yeah, they got the runaround though. We think what happened there is that the dealership possibly got their car in, but then sold it to someone who was buying it on credit because dealerships make more money that way, whereas this couple was just looking to pay cash.
Right, as we did.
Right.
So it was the same thing for us because, you know, you're starting out like a teenager with no credit here. So your credit that you left behind in the US, nada, means nothing. So then we were given a sheet, which is this, and this sheet, when we make the deposit, we have to give information. We have to email them the confirmation that the deposit was made, and we used Wise. Mark set up the Wise account with the help of our friend. So we went ahead and we used Wise. So the first deposit, or the first down payment, was for 200,000 pesos, which is
about probably 12,000 US dollars.
13,000.
Somewhere.
Yeah, that was on, Mark did the transfer on September 1st. It actually takes like 24 hours to go through on their end, but he got the confirmation within a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So that was, like I said, 200,000 pesos. And we never got any kind of confirmation from the dealer at all, like, hey, we got your money, just wanted to let you know. Nada. So we had to ask them, and they're like, oh yeah, it's here. Great, thanks for telling me. But so what Mark had to do is on that confirmation email that he got from Wise, he had to copy that confirmation, put it in an email, and send it to our salesperson and send it to the dealer. Two people. That's Brindle. She got a loud, ferocious bark. Ferocious, I said ferocious. And so what Mark had to include with it was the customer name, which bank we decided to use out of the two that they gave us, the date that the deposit was made, our salesperson's name, which is Alejandro, and what we were paying for, the creda, and I think that was it. Mark just sent that screen copy of the confirmation with this information to both people, and that was our next step after making that deposit. Next, I got a receipt on September 2nd for the 2,000 peso towards the car down payment that I made. Again, receipts are something that you really have to ask for and push. To be clear,
that was a 200,000 peso.
What did I say?
2,000.
Oh.
You shorted us by 198,000 pesos.
200,000. Okay, so then the next thing, Mark and I are in Texas selling our Hyundai Elantra to the vending machine, which happened to be Carvana. And I say that because it's like this big circular vending machine where the cars are on that come down. So then on September 11th, we sold our car on the 12th actually to Carvana. On the 11th, oh no, wait a minute, let me go back. Zip, 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 zip. On September 8th, while crossing the border, no, September 9th, crossing the border, we get a phone call from the car dealer telling us that our car came in. At first, he told us that it was going to be silver. Were we okay with that? We talked about it. We thought, yeah, I mean, we're getting a car, fine. Silver's fine. I wanted gray. And so we got to pick from 3 cars that I forgot to tell you about, 3 colors. And I picked gray, gray, and gray, which is gris, gris, and gris.
Yeah.
And we were allowed to pick, like I said, just from 3 colors. I think it was blue, white, and
gray was the third color.
Maybe there was
silver,
a red. Gray. I don't think red was one of them. Silver, gray, maybe blue.
And blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so I just made it all gray to make it easier, and he laughed at that. So then, Mark, we did the transfer on September 11th. September 12th, that actually went through for the remaining amount owed for the vehicle for 271,900 pesos.
Right. But originally they wanted us to pay it off earlier when the car came in port. They wanted us to pay it off on the date that they notified us that the car came in port, but Paulette said, no, we'll pay you when it gets to the dealership. And then you said that we'd pay when it gets to the dealership, and you've seen some pictures of the car.
Right, and I told him, send me some pictures of my car, I want to see it. So he did.
And then after receiving the pictures, then we went ahead and paid in full.
Right, and so that was, so keep track of these dates here. Things happen pretty quickly. So September 12th, the receipt is right here, which I had to ask for the payoff of the vehicle. Then on September 14th, I got my Fatura, which lists me. It lists I don't know if that's the VIN number. It says numbered of series. I don't know. I don't see VIN listed on there. Anyhow, so I got that because they had to do a Fatura. So that was on the 14th. So I have that paperwork. And then we got our car on, I don't remember what day it was.
A couple days later.
Yeah, a couple of days later. It was like Independence weekend, and so we waited until that Monday to get our car.
The 18th, 17th or 18th.
Yeah. Anyhow, okay, so, and then I think I needed my passport also. Forgot that. I needed my passport, and I made copies of that too, with my RFC, with my residency visa for my ID, with my CFE bill, my most current. Those were the only things that they really needed.
Yeah.
And and they needed the recent updated RFC. So I had car insurance on my Elantra, my Hyundai Elantra. That was a 2016 here in Mexico. And I went through that car company, and I said, our car insurance company, and I said, hey, I'm going to be getting a new car. Can you give me a quote? So his quote through the company was about 18,000 plus pesos for the year, which was about
$1,100 US, roughly.
So it was a little high, but it's a new vehicle, so what do I know? We were also told by our sales rep that they have the insurance through the car dealer that we can also purchase, and he gave me an estimated price of about $13,900. So that was a little bit of a difference. So he said it was a really good policy and so forth. So we picked up our car on September 18th, and while we were in the office, he went ahead and gave me the policy. We went ahead and purchased it for the vehicle, and it was 13,913 pesos, which is about $815, something like that, for the year. So it's paid in full, copies in the car, and it covers you. It says that it covers for Canada and the United States. And I thought, cool, that's awesome, right? So we found out that, what did we find out, honey? Tell them.
We found out it's full coverage in Mexico, but only PL and PD in the US and Canada. So basically public liability and public damage.
Right, so if anything happens to my car, I'm basically shit out of luck. So we have to look into that when we do drive back to the United States.
Did you just use another bad word on YouTube?
Maybe. Shit out of luck?
Ooh, twice. You heard it twice. Wash your mouth out with soap and water.
Yeah, Right away, I'll do that after the video's over. So we got the car insurance that same day, covered for a year.
So after we Paulette finished signing the paperwork, we bought the car insurance, and then they unveiled the car.
Yeah, it was covered.
Right, and so here is that video.
Una, dos, tres.
So the dealership said that they could go ahead and register the car for me and everything, and that was going to be 4,000 pesos, which is about $200. And again, I tell you all the time, if you don't know this about me, I'm cheap. So he told me that I had about 3 weeks to go ahead and register it. I heard like 4, but doesn't matter. So I said, I'll just go ahead and register it myself. So I went with a friend to the office to go ahead and register the car, and here there's like 2 different locations that you could go to. And there's a form that you had to fill out, just 1 piece of paper. Along with it, you had to bring your passport, again, your CFE and copies of your passport, your CFE, your residency, visa, and what else? Was that it? CFE, I don't think they wanted the RFC.
No.
I had it, but they didn't ask for that. So there's like, a couple of different steps you have to do to get your license plate and to get it registered. So the fee for that was 771 pesos, which is about what, $45?
$45,
something like that. And so there's my receipt for that. And what was the name of the facility again that we went to?
I'm going to butcher this up, but Governario de Finanzas is where we paid the vehicle registration.
Oh, and I also needed my driver's license. So I pulled out my Mexican driver's license for them to tell me that it expired. I thought that it went as long as my
temporary residency.
Yeah, is what I thought. And mine expires in, well, a little less than 2 months. About 6 more weeks, mine expires and I'll go to permanent, but that'll be a whole nother video. So she told me that it expired. She said I can renew it there if I wanted to, or just wait until I go permanent and then come back and renew it then. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. But I still have my South Dakota driver's license, which is valid, and you can drive on that, so it's not a problem. And the funny thing is in January, this is kind of crazy, but Mexico does a little bit of crazy things sometimes. In January, everybody registers their vehicle. So you can imagine what the lines are like. Crazy.
Yeah.
So even though my car is registered and I have my registration and I have my tags and I have all that stuff, and your tags are your license plate number, right? And you put it on the back. So it's my license plate number is one of my tags that go on the window, which is kind of different.
And you also get the little like credit card size card.
Yeah.
It's basically the right of circulation.
Right. So you carry that in your glove compartment also. So anyhow, usually in the United States, it's a little bit different, because in the United States, when you buy your car and you register it, if it's in January, then every January you do it. If it's in April, every April you go ahead and do it, but not here in Mexico. And so I was told by a lot of people, that's why a lot of people don't buy a car towards the end of the year, because then you're going to have to end up paying it again. So I'm curious if you guys can leave a comment on what a new car insurance costs in the United States. I'd be interested to know, because like I said, mine is about $815 for the year for a 2024. And also, what does registration cost for a new car? These dogs. So what does registration cost in the United States for a 2024 vehicle? leave a comment on that too. I'm curious to know.
Yeah. Like specifically, we came from California. We were paying about $250 a year to register our Hyundai Elantra 2016. When we had that registration moved to South Dakota, we were paying about $38. So yeah, it's about maybe 1/5 or 1/6 of what we were paying in California.
Yeah, California's, you know, and I don't understand why they charge you more in California when you buy a new vehicle for registration, because you know what? It's the same tires, whether your car's a 16, a 24, a 2008, you still got four tires hitting the road, but they screw you over, they really do. And I think California is probably one of the highest areas.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we left out talking about buying our vehicle that you can think of?
No.
It was a real easy process, super easy, and I made it clear when we first went in that, you know, situations happen with two people that I know, and we think that those cars were taken from the people that was promised the cars and sold to somebody else that was financing it, because like Mark says, it's more money for them.
Yeah.
Can't prove it. They're going to deny it, but that's a feeling that we have about that.
So in the car lots that we've seen around in San Luis and in some other areas too, there's not like a lot of cars that you can pick from to buy. It's like the cars in the showroom and that's it. So essentially you're basically ordering a car. And I don't know if it's that way in the US, but our car salesman, Alejandro, said that before COVID came along, they would have a bigger selection of cars, and they could,
and the chip situation,
and the chip situation, and that. But now basically they just have the showroom. You go and figure out what model, make and model of car that you want, and then you order it. Which was a little bit different for you and I, because you know they expect you to put some money down, and in fact a lot of money, and you still don't have
the whole thing.
Yeah, and you don't have anything to show for it except for some paper receipts. So there was a little bit of trepidation on my part, but that's just kind of the way that they do business now, selling cars here in Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, maybe different dealers do it differently.
Yeah.
We really don't know, to be honest with you.
Right, that was just our experience.
Yeah, but I was concerned paying for my car up front, paying for the car up front, that what if there was a scratch, what if there was a dent, what if there was a chip, what if there was something, you know, how's that gonna work? And he wouldn't put anything in writing, but he guaranteed that
it would be fixed. Or we just don't get that vehicle, we refuse that vehicle and wait for the next one to come in, whenever that might be. Right.
But the whole process really from start to finish was super easy. Our salesperson kept us in the loop the whole time. He was very good.
Right.
And the process was just unbelievable. We didn't know what we were going to run into, if there was going to be any snags along the way, but it was super easy, and it was like 30 plus days to get the vehicle. That was it.
Yeah, we started the process on August 8th, and we took delivery on September 18th. So yeah, 40 days, but still in Mexico time, pretty good.
That's pretty good.
So we're very happy with the car. We're very happy with our salesperson Alejandro, and we're happy with the service that we've gotten so far.
Yeah.
The reason why we wound up looking at the Hyundai in San Luis is because we'd taken our previous Hyundai there when it was time for servicing and stuff, and they were very professional, very nice.
And that's how we met our salesperson there, because he spoke English.
Right.
And so when we got kind of in a snag, they, I guess, called him to help. And so he just happened to be the salesperson that helped us, which
Yeah.
made sense. So we already knew him, so it made it a little bit easier too. And like I said, he kept us in the loop the whole time on the car.
Yeah.
And we're really happy.
Yeah, very professional dealing.
Yeah.
So.
So if you guys like what we're doing, we hope that you'll consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. And we also have a Facebook page called The Two Travelers in Mexico. It is a private page, so you do have to answer 2 questions. And
Little cheat sheet. The answer is yes.
yeah, you have to say yes to both.
Yeah.
And mean it. And you know, we post different articles there about Mexico, different conversations that go on about Mexico. So feel free to join that too. If you want to leave us a comment on anything, on your experience on buying a car in Mexico, go ahead and do that. Leave us a comment below. And I can't think of anything else, can you?
Well, there's only one more thing to do.
And that is from the, well, let me go back. As always, from the Two Travelers in Mexico.
What she did.
Bye, guys.
Bye.